In this video, I'd like to demonstrate how we can apply literary analysis skills to movies. Specifically, let's look at how directors, very much like authors, will embed symbolism into their narratives. It is possible and very beneficial to read a movie just as you would a book. So for this video, I'm going to look at the third movie in the Hobbit trilogy, The Battle of the Five Armies. And the opening scene of that film is Smaug's attack on Lake Town and the defense of Lake Town by Bard the Bowman, and the movie known as Bard the Bargeman. So let's take a look here at a scene from that film. Now I'm going to skip ahead here from the movie clip a little bit to demonstrate how symbolism is going to work here. Now in this scene we have Smaug coming in for the attack. We can see Lake Town burning. Bard emerges here as the hero of Lake Town, willing to fight the dragon. Notice as he comes through the roof, a bell tower is very prominently featured in the background of Lake Town. Now bells, traditionally, are symbols of kings. We can see Smaug coming in for an attack, and Bard sort of standing fast and not yielding, running from rooftop toward that bell tower. Now it stands to reason that Bard would want to assume the high ground. That's very strategic in battle, but we have so many rooftops in which he can stand, I could argue he already has the high ground. So as a movie viewer, I'm wondering why the directors chose to have him go toward that bell tower. Now before we get into that question specifically, it's important to realize what our actual king of this area, King Under the Mountain, Thorin Oakenshield, is doing while Smaug is attacking the city. So let's watch this next scene as the directors shift us to the Lonely Mountain. And we have Thorin and company just sitting off in the background watching the destruction of Lake Town. In fairness, there's not much they can do at this distance to defend it. But it is through their actions that Smaug does come to attack it. Notice the dwarves are looking very downtrodden. They're looking toward the ground, not making eye contact with Lake Town. But specifically here, notice what the king is doing. Thorin Oakenshield is nowhere to be seen. He's in the background. He's not looking toward Lake Town at all. Now, remember that Thorin, here we see him from the back, Thorin has assumed the title of King Under the Mountain because he possesses the Arkenstone, and he believes that the Arkenstone gives him a divine right to rule, meaning that he was chosen by God or some sort of Middle-earth and higher power to become the king of this area. But we see here he's not very much acting like that. Now, as I said, the bell many times is used as a symbol of kings. Think about how bells are used even in our culture today. We play church bells at major events. My local courthouse plays bells very routinely, not only on the hour, but when we have significant events going on in the community. So they sort of bring in new information and they draw our attention to important events. Now let's take a look at how a bell, specifically that bell tower I referenced earlier, is used with Bard as he defends Lake Town. Again, here we see him running from rooftops through the fire, confronting the dragon. And now he will ascend to the bell tower, almost like he's ascending to the throne of the king of this area. Notice how prominently the bell is featured here. We can hear it ringing, a resonating sound. And watch as the camera spins around. Bard and the bell are the most prominent things featured here, which I find very interesting in that now the dragon is coming in to go for another attack. And watch Bard's actions. As he attacks it, the bell is ringing. And here, in a bit of humor, he gets sort of annoyed with that bell resonating in his head, and he silences it and cuts the rope. Now, while there is some humor there, I also think there is a deeper symbolic message. For example, let's take a look at the makeup and structure of the bell itself. Now, according to ancient legends and older stories, many times the bell, the dome of the bell, comes to represent the heavens. It comes to represent God himself in some cases, with the opening, the base of the bell, representing the earth. It's a wide and open space. And the clapper inside the bell is representative of the divine will of the heavens, or the will of God. And that's very important when we apply that to the idea of who is really king of this area. Again, Thorin believes that he is chosen through his possession of the Arkenstone to be the king. But I think Bard here acts more like a leader. He acts more like a true king in defending his people. While Thorin is simply in the background and not watching, Bard is there fighting for the protection of Lake Town. And I think where he silences that bell by cutting the rope, he is also symbolically silencing Thorin's claim to the title of king under the mountain and ruler of this area. And that doesn't mean he's going against the will of God or the will of a higher power. I think it's more representative of Tolkien's idea that true leadership comes not from lineage or not of anyone's right to rule, that true leadership and kingly qualities come through our actions and our values. So, what do you think about my analysis of this scene? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What conclusions can you draw from this? What is Tolkien saying about leadership and the role of kings or leaders we have around the world today? How can you apply this viewing strategy of finding symbolism in film to other movies that you watch? And can you remember any places in the Hobbit trilogy where we have seen this type of visual symbolism before? Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.